I hope this is in focus because otherwise I will scream. Before I get into it, I just want to bring your attention to my fading but very cute hair. My friend Casey Baker is doing really cool things right now in her life and with her career, and I'm super proud of her and excited that she was able to do this for me. I will include her social media links in my description box if you want to snoop and see the kind of magic that she's making. I think that some people take for granted how something as simple as like dyeing your hair can help with your self-esteem. And I know there's no such, there's nothing that is the cure-all for insecurity, but there are little things that we can do for ourselves. Like I know when I chopped my hair a few years ago, it was just instantaneously life-changing to feel like I was a little bit closer to being me. Actually, when I went to get my hair chopped, I remember I took a picture of Cole from The Fosters. It was like around the time that his character had been introduced, and I just remember being obsessed with his haircut and was just like, this is exactly what I want. And it's not exactly what I got at the time, but like over time I have cut it shorter and shorter, and now I feel a lot more like it's how I want it to be. If you haven't watched The Fosters, Cole is a trans character played by a trans actor, I'm pretty sure. But anyway, that's just a funny thing for me to look back on because I didn't know I was trans back then. There's a lot for me to tell you. There are a few things that I don't want to talk about because I just don't feel like I need to, or like it's anyone's business. But the things that I am consistently excited about are my facial hair and my voice change, like my voice slowly dropping. There's this place that I go to get my tattoos done. The girl, Allie, who works at the front desk is always just very enthusiastically using my pronouns, and it's just, I don't know how to explain like the way it makes me feel. Like I don't feel like I'm just being tolerated in the space that I'm occupying, but rather that I'm being like enthusiastically welcomed. I just like want there to be more of that. I want to not just feel like I won't get my ass kicked, but also to like actively feel like I'm wanted there, and that like people want me to feel comfortable. Like I don't know. It's just, I've had too many experiences with people unintentionally making me feel like garbage. Do me a favor and don't tell me that it's hard for you to use the correct pronouns, because that makes me feel guilty, and I don't think that I should feel that way, and I know that you don't think I should feel that way, and I know you don't mean to make me feel that way, but I just, like, please don't say that. Like, it's damaging. I had my first experience with invasive cis curiosity. Just think before you speak. Like, I feel like that's basic stuff that we're taught when we're children, but for some reason it's still something that we need to tell grown adults. Weird. I don't know, just, I understand that if it's something that you're not familiar with, that you'll be curious about it. I get that. What I don't get is behaving in such a manner that makes me believe that you believe your curiosity is worth indulging more than my comfort. I don't know, man. I just, don't ask me questions about my body. Don't ask me questions that, like, you definitely wouldn't ask anybody else. Like, grow up. I was traumatized, dude. Like, and that, like, that's the thing too, is that I just, like, spent the entire conversation feeling like the person I was speaking to was having a lighthearted conversation, whereas I was being traumatized the entire time, and like trying not to be rude to them, even though they were being very rude to me. And it's a really weird and messed up thing to experience. I don't know. Don't ask inappropriate questions. Like, if you want to know things, either consult Google, or you could support me by paying attention to the things that I write about it on the internet, which I do. I am open about my transition on my terms, and I get to pick which pieces the world sees, because that's how it should be. It's my business, not yours. And just because I'm open about certain things doesn't mean that you're entitled to that information at all, or any other information for that matter. I just remember that I'm a human being with feelings and not a piece of entertainment. Just think before you speak. Wow. I don't know. It was just the first time that I had felt not excited to talk about things like my facial hair, my voice dropping, and other things related to my transition. And I was so sad about that. I apparently I'm still really sad about that. Hi. So on that note, I will remind you that my name is Louie, and my pronouns are he, him, his, or they, them, theirs. Frankly, I don't find it funny or entertaining or anything of that sort. Like, this is my body and this is my life, and it's not a joke. Another thing that I experienced is that I voted in our local elections, because it is our social responsibility to do so if you are able. And I was super anxious the 2 weeks leading up to it, because I knew that my voice was dropping, and I knew that my facial hair was coming in way faster than I anticipated, and I obviously didn't want to be misgendered, but I also didn't want to say my birth name out loud, because anytime that I have to say my birth name out loud, I want to throw up. I actually want to vomit. I feel like my insides are going to come out of me. Anyway, there were two people at the sign-in table. Once one of them asked for my name, I obviously had to give them my birth name, because that's what's on my identification, and that's the information that they have. But as soon as I said my birth name, as soon as I said it, the other human at the table, who hadn't really been paying attention to me, just was staring me down, and I looked at him and then looked away, and it was just, but whatever. I got to keep my facial hair, and I didn't get my ass kicked, and I got to vote. So I guess it's fine. I don't know, I guess that's the standard now. I didn't get my ass kicked. Another thing that I've experienced is that with my first 2 tea shots, the day after, I was just I would be super aggro, just really intense energy and aggression, that I'm pretty good about not projecting onto other people, but what I would do with it, is I would I got a bike, so I would go for a bike ride, or I would exercise. In one particular instance, when I was dog sitting at my best friend's parents' house, which I think in my 2 weeks on tea video, that's actually where I was at the time. The day after I did my shot, I remember being super aggro, and I went outside and just started raking the leaves, which is not something that I would do typically without someone asking me to do. And I was just like, I gotta rake these leaves. I gotta rake them, man. I gotta rake these leaves, because otherwise I'm gonna flip out. I had a different experience with my tea shot earlier this week, the day after, which is that instead of feeling super aggro, I was so weepy. I was so emotional about everything, just crying about nothing and everything. And I mean, I've got some stuff going on in my life. It was different. It was different from when I would have breakdowns before. I don't know how to explain it. I've been living with mental illness for as long as I can remember. Depression and anxiety specifically. So I kind of learned, eventually, I had learned what my, threshold for emotional pain and labor was, and what my lows were, what my highs were, and like learned healthy ways to cope with it and manage it. But I've discovered that my highs and my lows look and feel different now. So my second puberty is it's super taxing on me. But it's not impossible. And I actually just feel better knowing that it's just a matter of something that I need to adjust to. The reason that there hasn't been a shiny YouTube video since my 2 weeks on TV video is that I just kept being like, I don't want to make something while I am experiencing sadness or a depressive low. And for a while there, that just like was all that I was experiencing. And I think that I think that if I kept putting it off while I was like not in a good headspace or whatever, that I just never would put another video out. And I think that that would make me more upset and more anxious to not have something for future reference to look back on and see where I was in my life. I also just think that it's helpful, at least for me personally, to hear from other trans individuals who openly talk about the times in their lives where they are struggling, because then it helps to make me feel like I'm not doing it wrong.